Welcome back to another painting session. We'll be doing yet again another plant-themed painting, but this time we based on the simple, very simple clover. I was trying to find another word for that other than just simple. Majestic doesn't really do it. Maybe fortuitous? It's the Loch plant. And I will symbolize all of that by making all my clovers 4-leafed clovers. And of course, theme is going to be green to symbolize that. The land is going to symbolize, resemble something like a marred down loch, with a fairly sizable lake over here, channeling through 3 separate rivers, split with rocky surfaces that the clover's on. I know clovers usually make themselves home in very fertile lands, but some of them, they grow very meagerly, kind of like weeds. I don't know if they are a weed or not, I don't know. But I might change the landscape a little bit to make it a bit more green. But as it stands, actually, I think that would do good. Having green land with brown, grayish rocks sprouting up through the grass with, you're gonna have the perspective. If you haven't seen a clover before, it's about the same height as a blade of grass if given the grass enough time. If the grass is cut, then it's usually taller. But here, I'm going to make them much, much taller and a bit bigger, so you can see it. If they were to real scale, they would just easily blend in with the grass. So I'll make them a bit bigger. I'll make them sprout up from the crags and the rocks here to make them a bit different from the grass around them. If I am going to do grass, which now that I'm thinking about it, I probably will. There will be stony crags up top for the mountain range, and on the islands, well, the inlets, there'll be a galaxy spanning across with 3 separate planets, a bit different from what was decided before. This will be smaller than before. This about the same size. There'll be a planet right up here to fill up some space, and there will be a galaxy spanning, curving all the way up here. And that will be the light source of this painting. So they will all be centering about this point here. Same with the mountains and crags. And even the water. The water will be a murky blue color. There'll be a bit of green mixed in there, but there will be still some blue. I think I'll put some blue up in the sky, but that's to be decided. I think it'd be better for the color, like the color scheme, to have that. But it will only be a little bit of blue. It won't be a lot. It will only be a little bit, like 1 or 2 shades with some green mixed in there, because green will be the primary color of this painting. And with that out of the way, I think that will about do it. The only thing that will be complicated will be how I will go about making the clovers themselves, as the little rounded edges of them might prove to be a bit of an issue. That and clovers' heads are pretty flat. They don't really come up a lot. Of course, it's possible, but for what I've seen, they're pretty flat. Of course, that's just what I've seen. They might be completely different somewhere else. I could be wrong. So I might... What I'll have for this is I'll have it more vertical so you can still see it. Kind of like windmills in a way, but 4-leaf clovers. That's what I would do. Nothing complicated except for the clovers, and there'll only be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like 12 little clovers. Not much, not a lot. The focus will be on the land itself. Yeah, that should be about it. Other than the clovers, like I've stated before, nothing crazy. If you enjoy my type of content, I'll say this at the end, but I'll say it now. If you enjoy my type of content, then please do subscribe. My content is, of course, spray painting, making paintings on whatever I choose from spray paint. At the moment, I'm making paintings based on, as you could guess, plants. But before, I made paintings based on planets, colors, cultures around the world, what have you. And in the future, I do plan to revisit some of those in a much better style, especially the planets one. But it will only be after this series, which there's a lot more to this one, to this series, than most of the ones that I've done so far. So if you want to see the other ones, then do stay tuned. I'll show you the next painting I plan to do at the end of the video. If you're so inclined to know that, then of course sit back, enjoy the video, watch at the end. If you like this video, like the video. If you don't, dislike it. If you really like to voice your opinion, I will highly appreciate you doing that. Either compliments or criticism both help me to become a better artist and YouTuber or video maker of my paintings. And with that out of the way, I will now start the painting. Enjoy. And this is the finished product. We'll go around showing the sketch off. Now the space, I think I did pretty good. The planets, very detailed. It's good shading. Alright placement. Maybe this one could have stayed a bit bigger. That's fine. The mountains are good. The water line is good. The water itself is alright. The land, good. Transition into the land is alright. Rocks on the land is good. The grass is alright. The color overall is good. But as you might see, there is a glaring issue with this one. There's a surprising lack of clovers. And if you look closely at the video, I did try to implement them. But they were all in vain, as I wasn't able to get a good a good clover in, like a good painted clover. I didn't have the right technique, nor did I know what technique I should be going with making clovers with that size that look good. So I just maintained this. Overall, it still has, especially the planets, clover colors, bright greens with darker greens for the stems. Overall, it's a similar color base as that. I could even spin it that the grass is clovers, dark clovers. As clovers, they do blend in a lot with grass and far away. They honestly do just look like grass. They just have different tops. They're not blades. They have little petals on top. 3 to 4 or even 5 of them, depending on if you're lucky or not. And it seems like I wasn't when I was making this painting. Everything else looks perfectly fine, but the clovers I was not, regrettably I wasn't able to implement. But everything else was fine. Adding the grass itself was a new thing I didn't think I'd have to do, though it does look pretty well. Like here, I blended it in with the rocks a bit better. The rocks themselves, they have an added texture to them that I haven't tried out before, especially on this specific rock. Something I will definitely plan to do in the future. I think all of it, especially in the ground, holds a good lighting to it. Maybe it could be a bit brighter in some areas, as the water itself is less bright in person than it is on the camera, so do please be wary of that. It's much less, it's more dulled than over here than it seems on the camera. Where was it going? Oh yeah, the grass is good. Having that implemented is good. The lighting is alright. How I use the tints I like. Maybe this planet didn't really need that blob in the middle, but that's fine. Adds character, I suppose. The galaxy was good. Comets is good, as always. Just perfecting the things I've already known for months and months. And practicing all this. But this painting out of the way, I will now show you what I plan to do for the next one. The next one will be based on the Arctic lupine plant. This one should be much easier to implement than the clover, as it just has a little knob up top and little leaves on the bottom. I would do the exact same thing as I did with the Golden Fields painting. I believe that's what I'll call it. It has been posted as of making this video, by the way. But that's how I do that. And how I make the leaves on the bottom will be a similar way of how I made the leaves in the Mundo Gardens painting. Both of those videos that I have mentioned, I do heavily advise that you see them, as they will lay the groundwork on what I have been building for this series, in which I have been trying different techniques to the best of my ability to see if I could have a good hand at them, to practice and to make a good painting out of it. And I've learned today you can't always do that. I think it was a good idea just to cover up those mistakes, and it looks perfectly fine without them. Sometimes you don't have to put something in. Sometimes it's good without it. But if I was able to perfect it, then it would have been right at home here. Just unfortunate. Anyway, this will be an Arctic landscape with the northern lights up top and a waterfall down here. I might change how this is. Maybe even the waterfall being moved up here, because I don't really like how it's just a land of rocks here. I don't really like that. I'll probably change it. Everything else is fine. It's just that I don't like there's just a plain of rocks and then articulate pines here. So I'll probably change some parts of it. The river will still be maintained, though the waterfall might be up here. But yeah, that's just to be planned. This is for the painting after that. This will most likely be how it will look in the finished product. I won't change anything about this. This, on the other hand, will need some changes. I might not even have the top plant here. But yeah, that's just in the future. But in the present, I hope that all of you have enjoyed tonight's painting session. If you have, like the video. If you haven't, dislike the video accordingly. If you want to say anything, have your piece for this painting or the video that this painting contains, you could do so in the discussion below. Criticisms and compliments are both accepted by me, as both of them help me to become a better painter and videotaper for these paintings. If you like what I do, spray paintings, then don't feel shy to subscribe to the channel, as you will be notified of all my new uploads, which will be, I'm hoping, every day, unless there's an issue that it will make it like one day absent. But pretty much every day I upload, either it be shorts or a full-length video like this one. And until next time, I hope that all of you have a great night. Bye-bye.